Hello Artkins, let me try and give you another demo here. So what I've noticed is most of you are struggling because the image that you see on the monitor is much smaller than your canvas. So you're not able to determine like what is the size, how will I get this height, and what should be the approximate height over here. Now that's the basic struggle. So let's see if this demo helps or not. So what I'm trying to determine here is how much big is the image that I'm observing, or how much small is it than my actual canvas. Is it half the size of my canvas? Is it 1/3 of my canvas? I'm not sure, but I need a comfortable measurement for me to transfer it. I don't want it to be somewhere like, little more than half or little less than 1/3, then it will be difficult to remember and transfer it. If it's like 1/3 or half, it's easy for me to analyze and transfer those measurements. Let me explain you what I'm trying to say here. Like, for example, if my height of my image is exactly half of my canvas, right? It's exactly half of my canvas. Then when I transfer this height, I just need to double that size when I transfer that height of the negative space. But if it is not exactly the half, this height is less than the half of the image, half of my canvas, then it is difficult for me to get the relative size of this negative space. So what I will do is, either I'll get the monitor closer so that when I analyze the height of the image, is it like half of the canvas, or I will go closer, right? I will go closer, like I will move my head closer, and I'll like more closer I go, I'll get the larger height, like I'll get the bigger height. So somewhere I want, like, whatever I see over there should be half of my canvas size. So when I transfer this height, I just need to double it on my paper. But once I position my image, then I cannot move, then I should not move, because now if I go closer and then calculate that height, or if I go farther and then I calculate that height, then everything will go wrong. So whatever position you get, right, when like finalize, you should not move your table or your position until you should make a mark, like what is the position of your table or what is the position of your image, if in case you want to move around. But if you move around and then you come back, then it will be very difficult to get that same approximate, or to make that same approximation, or to get the same analysis back. So I have placed my laptop in such a way that the height of this image is exactly half the height of my canvas here. So now when I am determining this height, right, this space, so if I place it like this, right, so if this is what I get here, if this is the mark that I get here, then I just need to make a double that mark. length of that mark. So this is the height of this negative space. Okay. So this is, and now I just need to increase this by double over here. Okay, so I got the height of this from point for this point, but I don't know how much is this length over here. So for similar, like now I'm only going by the height of the image. Okay, now if you decide to go by the width of the image, then again it will get confusing. So you just need to mark every points that you see from the height of the image. I'll again try and get this point over here. Okay, so if this is the point, I just need to double it over here. So this point will be somewhere here, somewhere on this line. This point will be somewhere on this line. This point will be somewhere on this line. Okay, so I don't know whether it will be here, here. We don't know that, but I'm just making a line on which those point might appear or may appear. I'll take this point over here. Double the size. So this point will be on this line, and see, I'm already getting that angle here. You see that? But I will not draw the angle yet. So here somewhere I need to get the top plane of that cube. And then I increase it by, so this is the point that I got. This is the exact point of this cube. Okay, now we already have this line. Now we have to get this point. Okay, so we got this point now. Now let's see whether this angle that I'm getting here is matching to this angle. See, if I transfer it exactly like this, it's matching. So we can confidently make that angle. Even if we don't get this point, it's okay. We can just, once we get this point, all we had to do was, because we already got the height of this point, right? All we had to do was just make a angle here. So once we got this point, right, now we have 2 points here, right? So now we just need to get this angle and transfer this angle and make the lines here. Okay. Cross check if this is going to meet the vanishing point or not, this line, right? Now we got this point. Now we have to get this angle over here. So this angle. Okay, so now how will we get this point here? Mark it. It will be somewhere here. It will be somewhere here. Increase it by double. Got the point. So this height, we got the point here. Once we have that point, okay, now this angle, right? Remember, vanishing point. Now this has to go in this angle, okay? But once we have the point, we have to we have to just transfer the angle here. See that? I made a mistake. This should be the height. Here it should be, and the angle will be here. Angle should be here. Sorry. I'll erase this part. Yeah. No, because after I made a mark, I realized that the negative space over here, like, it's not looking right. So when I cross verified, I realized that I made a error. So I got two planes now. Now I have to like somewhere end this. Will I do that? Now once I know this part, okay, so if I mark it over here, now if I increase this by double, this should be the point of this should be the corner over here, and similarly now it's easy, right? Once I have that angle there, once I have this angle here, I just have to transfer it here, and I get the angle here, and just have to cross verify whether this size is exactly half the size of this. So this, right? Similarly, I get the angle here, angle here. It's a very subtle angle, so very difficult. There, here, and then it goes here. Okay. Now again I will get this, try and get this angle. There. So if you notice, right, this is not absolutely straight, this is slightly an angle. So that thing has to be transferred here, like it looks almost straight but it is not straight. Similarly from this point again you have to, now it's too dark, you can't actually see that, but somehow you have to like manage and put it here, okay. But then cross verify, is your perspective going correct or not. So if this 3 points are meeting the vanishing point, similarly these lines should also go and meet vanishing point on the top. So this, if this is going over in this angle, okay, or if this has to go in this angle, whichever angle it goes, this line these 3 lines has to go and meet the vanishing point. If angle of this is wrong, if angle of this is wrong, then we have to correct the angle of this one, and all 3. But from what I see over here, I think this angle is correct. Or should I move it little bit over here? Maybe I can move it little bit here, right? So now I can further this angle little bit here. So now if I make a line over here, and from this point if I join this line, I get a better shape of the cube, and I'll erase the extra marks that I have made. I'll clean up my drawing. Because sometimes when you do all that, if you transfer all that angle over here, there is a possibility that it still might look wrong on the canvas. So how do you correct your drawing? That is where you apply your knowledge of perspective and just your basic observation, whether this space is looking correct over here, or this space is looking correct over here, this size of the cube, is it looking like correct, or is it like become too big over here? All that you have to just keep observing it, because like when you keep drawing, like if you're continuously drawing, right, there is a and if you don't move around much, your eyes tend to cheat you, even this angle is wrong, still you will feel that, even if this angle is wrong, still you will feel that the angle maine to barabar banaya, the mine is fine. And then when it is pointed to you, it looks wrong, then sometimes it's become very obvious also. But when you're drawing it, you don't realize it. Okay, So this is your basic. Now see the shadows, right? The angle of the shadows is like determined by the source of the light. So if source of the light is somewhere from here, so if the light passes through this angle, right, this angle, okay, then the point you get this corner, like this corner is transferred here. So then everything else, once you get one corner of that shadow, then every of logic of perspective will apply to the shadows also, because over here, like say this, now this same vanishing point are meeting the shadows also, like the lines of the shadows are also meeting the same vanishing point over here. So this over here, okay, over here, okay. So what you have to get is this angle over here, okay, and then try and transfer that angle here. Got it? Okay. This angle over here. Oops. Erase the additional lines. So this, now this cube is almost you see on the monitor. You can just refine it, see if you have done it correctly, because although this will be cheating area, right, because the corner is not clearly visible here, but this is where your knowledge will come in handy. Okay, so for shading right now we will just go for the basic 3 or 4 tone shading. We will not try and shade the whole page. Okay, so see the darkest look at the darkest of area of the image, see the lightest area of the image. This is the core shadow part. Okay, here this area the light is not falling, so these are the core shadow areas. Okay, so what you have to remember is the lightest dark, or the darkest light is always lighter than the lightest dark. Okay, if this is the lightest dark, the darkest light, if this is the darkest light, I mean this is the brightest light, this is the darkest light, it will always be darker than the lightest dark. I know it's confusing, but try and remember that. Okay, so now these areas light is not falling, but there is an ambience light over here, and the shadow of shadow is also falling. That the table's shadow is falling on the cube. Okay, and cube shadow is falling on the table, so that's why these areas are like very dark. Okay, so I'll just increase the length of my pen, lead, and try and cover as much area as possible here. Okay, so you can just move from one, like try and practice shading like this manner, like start from here, go down, start from here, go down. Okay, don't do this, start from one and go down. Similarly, start from here, go in one direction. I am lifting my pencil as I am moving back to my origin. So this is your first pass. So this is the pencil that I'm using is 4B. Okay, so many of you will be drawing with 2B, or try and draw with 2B, and then when you're shading, move to 4B or 6B or higher. Okay, and even if you draw with HB, it is fine, but don't try and use use soft hands, like don't press too much, then it will be very difficult to erase the dirt around the the dirt that like the roughs and dirt that has happened while you're drawing. Okay, so this now slowly, as your first pass goes, again repeat lightly. Don't try to get the darkest tone right away. Keep working at it, because graphite it's a little difficult. Charcoal is relatively easy to get the darkest tone, but in graphite it's relatively difficult. And you will never be able to achieve that kind of darkness with the graphite pencil. Okay, if you try to be very dark with the graphite pencil, graphite is the regular pencil that you use, then this will look very like the surface will look very shiny, and it will never look that kind of dark, but you have to get that same effect over here. Okay, so now in the scale value of 10, if this is, you have to determine whether this is this is number 10 and this is number 3, then this should be number 7 and this should be number 6, and if this area is number 10, then this should be number. See what is your scale here. Okay, so over here, if this is your number 10 that I am doing right now, then the same value has to come here too. And gradually move here, and some 10 will be, because the shadow of the surface is falling on the cube, so some value of 10 will be on the cube itself. So the line, the edge gets disappeared in the shading, but it's there. Okay, you have to draw it correctly, otherwise the shading will not look proper. Now I move to 6B pencil to get a darker tone. So I'm more or less done now. I can keep going and improve this shading for another 3 to 4 hours, but for the purpose of our demo this should be fine. So you can keep rectifying some angles, and like as I cross-checked, I think I made this angle wrong, but again it's not a, so here I'm done almost. Okay, like can correct the tone with the kneaded eraser. Like some areas, if you have like pushed a little harder, you can like reduce the darkness of with the adjust the darkness with the kneaded eraser. And so this is, I don't know if you can see it properly. Yeah, so this is how the final product will look like. So see this. All right, thank you.